So we have finished that TCP part, right? So then we move on to the next topic. So that is internet routing, right? So you may ask then, see, routing already we have studied, right? So what we have studied is routing within a network we have studied. Okay, how the packet is to be routed. So within a network or a smaller network we have seen, right? So, but here what we are studying is internet routing, right? Internet capital I, right? So how the routing takes place in our internet, right? So internet, so it is a global network, right? So how the routing takes place, so in a global internet. Okay, so that is what. So what whichever routing algorithms we have studied, so they are applicable for smaller area. Okay, they are applicable for a smaller area, but here it is very big. It is very, very big, right? So the whole globe is considered as space, okay, network space. Now, in this, right? Yeah, so basic routing. So these things you know it already, right? So how actually the routing, okay, how to prepare a routing table, okay, whenever a packet comes, so then the how it is to be forwarded, okay. So from one router to how it is forwarded to next router, or if the packet belongs to the same network, then it is forwarded to the interface. So there is a default router. All these things we know it, right? So these things you need not worry. So I think you have already studied. So routing, forwarding, right? So post how it behaves, right? So these things you need not worry. Routing table entries. Okay, so these things we have already studied. Forwarding procedure. So okay, yeah, this is very important. Now, as I said, the if you consider internet, whenever I say internet now, it is capital I, right? Internet means the global internet. Okay, so global internet, so it can be viewed as a collection of autonomous systems, right? So collection of autonomous systems. So autonomous system is nothing but it is a very big network, okay, very big network of networks, right? As you see, autonomous system is a set of routers, right? Or networks administered by a single organization, right? So the currently the you can say the for example your Airtel or Jio, so they may be having different networks of so they may be administering different networks, right? Okay, so the entire networks that are administered by a single organization, so that is an autonomous system. So autonomous system is a very big, it is a very big network. It is a very big network. So it is a network of networks, right? It is a network of networks, okay, administered by a single organization. Okay, so you can say it very big. It is okay. So that picture should come to your mind. So it is not a small network. It is a very big network, right? And since the autonomous system consists of a very big network, or it is a network of networks. Okay, so there are different networks. There are different networks in a single autonomous system. Okay, now same routing protocol need not be run within an autonomous system, right? As autonomous system is a big network. Okay, it consists of network of networks. So there are different networks within an autonomous system. Okay, that doesn't mean that in every network within an autonomous system, the same routing protocol should run. Are you getting my point? Okay, so assume that an autonomous system consists of around 10, 10 networks. Okay, 10 different networks are there within an autonomous system. So that means, so so these 10 different networks may have different routing protocols, right? Within the same autonomous system, though they belong to the same autonomous systems. So the networks within an autonomous system, so they can have their own routing protocol. That means the same routing protocol need not run within an autonomous system. Okay, I think that part, I think it is clear. So the different networks within the same autonomous system, so they can run different routing protocols. But as far as outside world is concerned, right? So when you So you have one autonomous system, so another autonomous system, visualize that, right? So you have one autonomous system which is connected to one autonomous system connected to another autonomous systems. Like this, you visualize different autonomous systems. Okay, the global internet as an interconnection of different autonomous systems, right? So, but to the outside world, an autonomous system should present a consistent picture of what autonomous systems are reachable through it, right? So assume that you have one autonomous system 1, autonomous system 2, autonomous system 3, autonomous system 4, like that. Okay. So they have their connection between them. They have their connection between them. Okay. So they have their connection between them. Now, when autonomous system, suppose a host connected to autonomous system 1 so wants to transmit the data to another host connected to autonomous system 4. Autonomous system 4. Are you getting me? Okay. A host connected to autonomous system 1 wants to transmit data to a host connected to autonomous system 4. It is not just a network, it is autonomous system 4. Then, so the autonomous system 1, whether it can go through post autonomous system 2 or autonomous system 3, right? So that is what. So every autonomous system should, as you see here, every, just go back. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. But to the outside world, so every autonomous system should present a consistent picture of which all autonomous systems are reachable through it, right? So from autonomous system 1, if you want to go to autonomous system 4, so 2 should indicate whether 4 is reachable from it or not, or 3 should indicate to 1 that whether 4 is reachable from it or not. Okay. So every autonomous system should be able to indicate which all autonomous systems can be reached through it, just as, so the same, just as a router only. So every router should know all networks to which it is connected. Okay, the same thing here. So every autonomous system should know so which all autonomous systems can be reached through it. Okay. So if any doubts are there, you can ask me. Now there are three types of autonomous systems. There are three types of autonomous systems. Now, one is a stub autonomous system. Okay, stub autonomous system means it has only a single connection to the outside world. It has only one connection, right? So it is not having multiple connections. So it is having only one connection to the outside world. Okay, so with that particular link, it can either transmit or receive. It can either transmit or receive. Okay, is that clear? So it is having only one link. It is having only one link. So to whichever autonomous system it is connected, that's all. So through that autonomous system only it can either transmit or it can receive. It can receive. So that is a stub autonomous system. Stub autonomous system. Right. So then next one is multi-homed autonomous system. Multi-homed autonomous system has multiple connections, right? Has multiple connections to the outside world. That means a single autonomous system may be connected to multiple autonomous systems. Multiple autonomous systems. Is it clear? So multiple connections to the outside world. Outside world means what? It is through autonomous systems only, right? So, so these are, so it is having multiple connections. So you can just say autonomous system 1, it is connected to 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So 2, 3, 4, 5. These autonomous systems are connected to autonomous system 1. That means 1 connects to autonomous systems 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. But at the condition is, but refuses to carry the transit traffic. Refuses to carry the transit traffic. Right. So this multi-homed autonomous system, what it does, so though it is connected to multiple autonomous systems, but it doesn't want, now see, assume that this autonomous system 1 is connected to, so autonomous system 2 and autonomous system 3. Okay, autonomous system 2 and autonomous system 3. Okay, now what is transit traffic? if a host connected to autonomous system 2, please try to visualize it. So if a host connected to autonomous system 2 wants to transmit a data to another host connected to autonomous system 3 via this one, via autonomous system 1, so then it rejects it. Then it rejects it because there is no, it doesn't allow any transit traffic. Transit traffic means the data originating in a different autonomous system and heading towards different autonomous system. So through this particular autonomous system. So that is what is transit traffic. That is what is transit traffic. It is like, so data originated at Sri Lanka, okay, which is heading towards Pakistan, so via India. So that's what is transit traffic. That's what is transit traffic. Is it clear? So, so this is not allowed. This is not allowed in case of multi-home autonomous system. So, so transit traffic is not allowed in case of multi-home autonomous system. Is that clear? Any doubts? Any doubts? Yes? Just tell me. Are there any doubts? Please respond.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the next type of autonomous system is transit autonomous system. Okay, so it is also having multiple connections to the outside world, but it is ready to carry the transit traffic. It is ready to carry the transit traffic. That means if at all a data may be generated by one autonomous system, so it may be heading towards another autonomous system, so it can be sent through my autonomous system. Okay, I am ready to carry the transit traffic. I am ready to carry the transit traffic, right? So in case of multi-home autonomous system, it doesn't carry any transit traffic. That means what? Data. So if the data is generated here only, so I can transmit it to another autonomous system. Or data generated by another autonomous system, so can be delivered to me. Can be delivered to me. So that is okay. But I am not going to carry the data generated by one autonomous system to another autonomous system, so through my autonomous system. So that is not allowed in case of multi-home autonomous system. But so the transit autonomous system, it is ready to carry the transit and the local traffic, right? Okay. So we will move ahead. So now if you just assume, okay, just again visualize, so there are different autonomous systems that are connected to one another, right? That are connected to one another. So big picture, you just bring it before your mind. Okay. Now, if you just see exterior routing means what? So data being routed from one autonomous system to another autonomous system. Are you getting my point? Right? So there are several autonomous systems which are connected, okay, which are connected. Now, if at all a data from one autonomous system should be forwarded to another autonomous system, okay. So now, what you should know is every autonomous system should be numbered, okay, just as right as you have IP addresses, right? So to identify the network, because network IP address is network ID and host ID, right? So network ID is identified by some IP address. So here it is not just the IP address, it is the autonomous system number, it is, right? It is autonomous system number. Now, so there are the number of autonomous systems, okay, it may be less as compared to the number of hosts, right? Because a single autonomous system may contain several networks and several hosts, but as such the number of autonomous systems in the whole world, so it may be still it is the number is not that high. So currently it is given, so the total number of registered autonomous systems is 11,000 across the whole globe, across the whole internet, right? The total number of registered autonomous systems, it is 1100, right? So every autonomous system should be given a 16 bit number, right? So that means how many autonomous systems you can have? So it is 2 raised to 16, right? So 2 raised to 16 different autonomous systems can be we can have, right? So such as on today, so we have 1100 registered autonomous systems that are there, right? And one thing is So since this stub and one more multi-home autonomous systems, so they don't carry any transit traffic, so they need not be given autonomous systems. They need not be given autonomous system number because they don't carry any transit traffic, right? So only the transit autonomous system so needs an autonomous system number. Yes or no? Because it is the transit autonomous system, it is the one which is going to take the data from one autonomous system and it is going to forward it to another autonomous system. So through its autonomous system. Okay. So that is why so only transit autonomous systems, so they need autonomous system number. They need autonomous system number. Okay. Now, if at all you want to have a new autonomous systems, you can just consult this ARIN, RIPE, APNIC. So the full forms you just find out. So it is these are all international organizations so that are involved in assigning autonomous system numbers. See, this is how now this system itself, it is a very big thing. It is a very, very big thing, right? Now, in that autonomous system, okay, so to manage it properly, see, we have studied it earlier, right? We have studied earlier, like, okay, see, so the actually area that comes later. We'll go to that later. So as far as this is concerned, okay. Now you just see here. So this is autonomous system A. This is see the pointer. This is autonomous system A. So this is autonomous system B. This is autonomous system B. So this is autonomous system C. Autonomous system C. Right. Now so it consists of multiple routers, multiple networks, right? So there may be thousands of routers here. Here also there may be thousands of routers like that. Okay, now, so the routing that takes place within an autonomous system, routing that takes place within an autonomous system, it is called as IGP, Interior Gateway Routing Protocol. Interior Gateway Routing Protocol. Okay, interior gateway. So gateway is the one that connects it to the another autonomous system, but it is within the gateway. Okay, interior gateway routing protocol. Routing protocols that run within an autonomous system, they are called as interior gateway routing protocol. So the examples for interior gateway routing protocol are RIP, right? RIP RIP is what? Routing Information Protocol. Routing Information Protocol, right? The second routing algorithm, which is again IGP, so it is OSPF, Open Shortest Path First. Open Shortest Path First routing protocol. So these two protocols are interior gateway protocols. Okay. So then exterior gateway routing. So this is now whenever you want to route data from one autonomous system to another autonomous system, one autonomous system to another autonomous system. Okay, so crossing this border gateway, okay, crossing this gateway. So that is called as exterior gateway routing protocol. Exterior gateway routing protocol. Okay, so routing between autonomous systems. So from one autonomous system to another autonomous system. Okay, if the data from this autonomous system, if it is to be sent to this autonomous system, so then it has to go through this autonomous system and it should come to this one. Okay, so this routing, it is called as exterior gateway routing. Exterior gateway routing. So the example is border gateway routing protocol, BGP. Border gateway routing protocol. Okay, so BGP is the exterior gateway routing protocol. Example for exterior gateway routing protocol. Okay. Yes, any doubts? Okay, so then we will study the first interior gateway routing protocol, that is routing information protocol, right? Routing information protocol. So one thing I tell you, so this routing protocol, it is based on, see this Bellman-Ford routing algorithm, which we have already studied. Okay, that is used for a smaller network, right? Bellman-Ford routing algorithm, we have already studied that. So it is the Bellman-Ford routing algorithm. It is also called as distance vector routing algorithm. Okay. So distance vector routing, it is an algorithm. It is an algorithm, right? But it is not a protocol by itself. Okay. So using this distance vector routing algorithm, right? So a routing information protocol has been developed. Routing information protocol has been developed. So this has an RFC. What is RFC? Yes, what is RFC? Anybody? Hmm? Anybody? What is RFC? Yes. What is RFC? I'm waiting for your answer. Abhishek, are you there? Abhishek P, Abhishek R. Yes, I think you are not there. Your mobiles are there. Abhishek P, Abhishek R. Where are you? Yes, Akshay Naik, Akshay Naik, Akshay Naik. Are you there? Akshay is also
Sir,
not
it
there.
is clear, sir.
No, it is clear, but I am just trying to find out others. So how many are there? Akshay, are you there? This is very, very bad actually. Anmol, are you there? Anmol Wadikar, are you there? So this is the situation. This is the situation of online class. This is the fate of online class. So nobody is there. Nobody is responding. Dheeraj, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So is it clear, right? So this routing information protocol, right? What it does is it is developed. It is developed based on the Bellman-Ford routing protocol, right? So Bellman-Ford routing protocol, it is for a smaller size, okay, for a smaller size network. So when the routing for the entire internet is concerned, so this is the Bellman-Ford routing algorithm. It is used as a basic building block for that. So the bigger routing protocol for the internet, it is developed using the Bellman-Ford routing protocol, which is also called as distance vector routing protocol, right? And one thing this you should remember, so it uses, okay, so though we call it as routing protocol, see now since it is part of internet, okay, so it uses TCP service, okay, it uses TCP service, runs on top of TCP, or sorry, UDP, runs on top of UDP. That means, so that means this RIP where it is running then just above transport layer, right? It should be running just above the transport layer because it runs on top of UDP. It runs on top of UDP. That means, so this RIP is not a part of IP. It is not part of Internet Protocol, right? It is not part of IP because it is running on the top of UDP. It is running on the top of UDP and it is having a port number also. It is having a port number. So that is 520. Is that clear? These things you should know it, right? So that means it can be part of the application layer. It can be part of the application layer, or it can be running parallelly with other applications. Okay, is it clear? So the metric, okay, because now so you have studied routing protocols. Now, so shortest route, shortest path routing, and these things you have studied. Okay, so what is the metric used? Okay, in this case, the metric that is used is number of hops, right? So the number of hops, so that is the metric. That means, so whichever path leads to lesser number of hops, so that is the best path as per this routing, as per this RIP protocol. Okay, so the number of hops is the major concern. So not the bandwidth, not the delay, nothing, right? So the number of hops that are to be crossed for reaching from one source to another destination. So the number of hops, that is the only metric. That is the only metric. Okay, and the maximum limit for the number of hops is 15. Okay, so maximum limit is 15. That means, so the number of hops, it is restricted to 15. That means any any node any node within an autonomous system, right? Within, it is within the autonomous system. So any node within the autonomous system, we should be able to reach it within 15 hops. Within 15 hops. So if it is not reachable within 15 hops means, so that node is not at all reachable. So that's what is the conclusion. That's what is the conclusion. Are you getting my point? Right? If a particular node, if it cannot be reached from me within 15 hops, that means that node is not reachable. So that is what is, see, that is why it is suitable for smaller networks. Then value of 16 reserved for representing infinity. That means it is not reachable. If the number of hops from A, if I want to reach B, if I have to cross 16 hops, that means A to B connectivity is not at all there. It is A to B connectivity, it is not at all there. And so restricting it to the number of hops to 15, so it solves our count to infinity problem also. It solves our count to infinity problem also. It settles down very, very fast. Okay, so how actually this routing information protocol, how actually it works, right? Now, every router, see, now just to try to recall that Bellman-Ford routing algorithm. So how actually it works, right? So there, every router, what it used to do, it used to identify its neighbors, collect the information about its neighbors, right? And so it used to uh, prepare its table of information about the neighbors, right? So the router sends update message to neighbors every 30 seconds. Every router, every router, okay, what it does is, so to which all neighbors it is connected, to which all neighbors it is connected. So that information it exchanges with its neighbors. So every router within the autonomous system. So they do it every 30 seconds, once in every 30 seconds. So this is done. Now, if a router doesn't receive any routing update for 180 seconds, suppose A and B, they are neighboring routers. Now, A doesn't receive any information, any update from B within 180 seconds. So that means A assumes that, so A to B link, it is gone. Okay, so this is gone, because that's what is the conclusion. Okay, so B should get the routing update from its neighbor every 30 seconds. So even after waiting for 180 seconds, it has not received routing information from B. So that means the router expects to receive an update message from each of its neighbors within 180 seconds. In the worst case, it is 180. So if the router doesn't receive the update message from the neighbor X, so within this limit, so then it assumes that the link to X has failed. Okay, the link to X has failed, and the corresponding minimum cost, so it is set to 16. That means 16 means not reachable. 16 means value 16 indicates that is infinity. It is not reachable. So, and one more thing is it uses to avoid count to infinity problem. So, to avoid count to infinity problem as a second solution, so it adopts split horizon with poisoned reverse. So, that we have studied already. Okay. So, this also it is used to avoid count to infinity problem, and the convergence is speeded up by triggered updates. Okay, regular updating, so it can whenever a link, suppose a link is broken down, okay. So when that link is restored, so then the routing tables, so they have to converge. Okay, so that is speeded up by triggered updates. Now, the routing information protocol. So RIP, it is now it is running in hosts also, it is running in routers also, right? Because so if a host is concerned, it is passive in nature. Why router is passive? Why hosts are passive in nature as far as RIP is concerned? See, it is given that hosts can run RIP in passive mode. In passive mode, because the host doesn't advertise itself, right? A host doesn't advertise itself, correct? No, host doesn't advertise because a host is at the max, it is connected to one network. A single host cannot be connected to. So is it possible to connect a host to multiple networks? Yes, tell me, is it possible to connect a host to multiple networks? Yes, I am asking you something.
Yes, sir, it can be connected, sir.
How? How?
Like, for example, a mobile phone can be connected to the 4G network and Wi-Fi network both.
See, you see now, if you see here, now every host is identified by a unique IP address. So can your mobile have multiple IP addresses? Yes, tell me.
No, sir.
Then, so because if you look at the IP address, it is broken down into two parts, right? Network ID and host ID. Okay, so network ID remains same. Network ID remains same, no? So it represents to which network you are connected. So if you have two networks, then you should have two IP addresses. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Then so if your host is connected to two networks, so then your host is no longer a host, it is a router then. Because router is the one which is connected to multiple networks. If a particular device, if it is connected to multiple networks, if it is connected to multiple networks, so then it is no longer it is called as a host, it is a router. It is a router then. Now, assume that in your on your desktop, right, on your desktop, instead of having a single NIC card, if you put two or three NIC cards, two or three NIC cards, and connect each NIC card to different networks, then your desktop is no longer it is a host, it is a router because you are connecting your desktop to three networks with three NIC cards. Yes or no? So with respect to every network, you have one IP address. So that means your desktop is having three IP addresses with respect to three different networks. Yes or no? So that is no longer a host. That is no longer a host then, right? Okay. So because IP address, it is a globally unique address to identify a host. A host is having a unique IP address. A host is having a unique IP address. Only one IP address. Okay. So I hope I am clear. Abhishek. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, I got it now, sir.
No. So, so that is why hosts are passive in nature because they don't have any advertisement. Okay, so they cannot claim that I am connected to these many numbers because a host is always connected to only one router, only one router. It cannot be connected to multiple this one, right? So because they don't have, that is why they don't have anything to advertise. So that is why they are in a passive mode. But routers, so routers are the ones which are connected to multiple routers, right? So they will be in active mode because every time, whenever there is an update, so they have to prepare their routing information and they have to advertise it. So that is why they are in active mode, right? So this RIP datagrams, we call them as RIP datagrams because why it is called as RIP datagrams? Why it is called as RIP datagram? Because RIP uses what? UDP, right? So RIP is running on UDP. That is why it is called as RIP datagrams. Okay, RIP datagrams broadcast. So in case of LAN, they are broadcasted, right? In case of LAN, they are broadcasted. So in case of multi-access networks, so it is or non-broadcast network, right? So two RIP packets, okay, two RIP packets. One is a request. So assume that A wants to know about B. So B is whether suppose router A and router B, assume. Now router A wants to know which are the neighbors of B, which are the neighbors of B. So then what A does, A sends a request. A sends a request to ask the neighbor for the distance vector table. So whatever the table it has prepared about its neighbors, so that table A wants it. So it sends a request. It sends a request to its neighbor. So then this is RIP request. It is RIP request. So this is a RIP response, right? So B sends a response RIP packet. So advertising the distance vector table, distance vector table. So that distance vector table, what actually it contains? It contains the information about so who are all the neighbors of B and how they can be reached. What is the distance, right? So periodically, so in response to the request, so these requests or responses are regularly sent. See, this is the message format of RIP. Okay, every protocol will be having a message format, right? So this is the message format. Now this whether so just to indicate whether it is a request or whether it is a response. So this is the command field. This is the version. There are two versions, version 1 and version 2. RIP version 1, RIP version 2, right? So then these are zeros currently not being used. Zero. So this is also zero. Then address family it is. So there are different address families, you will see them. Okay. So 2 is meant for IP family. Okay. So the number 2, it is meant for IP address family. So this is the IP address. This is the IP address because here what is important to identify a router or a network, we need IP address. We need IP address because network ID part is very, very important, right? So how far is this particular network from the current network, from the current router? Okay. So these fields are zeros. So they are currently not being used. So they are zeros. So then the metric. What is this metric? So this metric consists of the number of hops. The number of hops. Okay. So this is with respect to what? One neighbor. This is with respect to one neighbor. Are you getting my point? So this is, see, suppose, assume that a single router is connected to 4 or 5 routers. Okay, 4 or 5 neighbors it has. Then in its this one update in its what you can say distance vector. So how many entries must be there? If it has 5 routers as neighbors, so then 5 such entries must be there. So this is what RIP entry. It is with respect to one neighbor. If it is with respect to one neighbor, so there can be, see, suppose there are 5 neighbors, so then this RIP entry should be there with respect to every neighbor. That means 5 entries must be there. So at the max, up to 25 RIP entries can be there. At the max, up to 25 RIP entries can be. That means a single router can be connected to 25 different neighboring routers. Is it clear? Any doubts in this? Any doubts in this?
No, sir.
See, the same thing is explained here. So command can be either it is a request or it may be a response. Version 1 and version 2. There is a slight version. See, this version 1. Okay. So the difference is, so it does not have access to subnet mask. Okay. So this is not supported here. Subnet mask is not supported because, so this version 1 doesn't support, so this CIDR, what we have studied, classless interdomain routing, what we have studied, so it doesn't support that. Okay, there is no question of subnet mask and variable length subnet mask. So this is not supported in case of version 1, but whereas it is supported in case of version 2. As you see, we RIP version 2, so subnet mask, next hop, routing domain, so can work with CIDR. Okay, so and still uses a maximum cost of 16 only. Okay, here also the maximum number of hops it is still 15. Okay, so this address family, it is 2 for internet. So IP address is mainly for the network or the host destination. Okay, so host in the sense, again it is network ID part only. So metric refers to the number of hops to this destination, number of hops to destination. Okay, so that completes. See, it is very simple. Okay, because this one you have already studied. Bell-Manford routing algorithm you have already studied. So that is running in the background. So that is the basic building block for this. So what they do, the instead of exchanging just a small message, so they exchange the information about all the. See, this is at a higher level. It is okay. So it is working within an autonomous system. Within an autonomous system, you try to understand that it is not within a single network or within a smaller network. It is at a within an autonomous system consisting of thousands of nodes or hundreds of networks, you can say, right? So now the routing, now it is taking place between the networks within the autonomous system, right? So the same Bell-Manford routing algorithm, so running at a larger level, running at a larger scale, running at a larger scale it is, right? So now the routers, they exchange this information about, so the two different neighboring networks they are connected. Okay, so that information is exchanged between every routers. Okay, so update happen within 30 seconds, every 30 seconds, right? So they accordingly they prepare their table. Okay, so what is called what is that table called as? Yes, what is that table called? Distance vector table. So they prepare the distance vector table. So that distance vector table is very important. So it contains the information about the neighbors of a particular router, right? So like this, so every router in the autonomous system, every router in the autonomous system will prepare its distance vector table and exchanges with their neighbors. So like that, that information, it is spread across the whole autonomous system, and every autonomous system, so every router, so it will be having a global picture. Okay, so that's how the routing takes place in the autonomous system. Okay, this is a RIP message format. Okay, is it clear? Yes, any doubts? See, there are some disadvantages because RIP, it works only for a smaller network because the maximum number of hops, it is 15, right? So it cannot work beyond that. That is the main disadvantage. That is the main disadvantage. And so the next routing protocol, next protocol that works, that is, which are the two interior gateway routing protocols that we have seen? One is RIP and another one is OSPF, of Open Shortest Path First, right? So this Open Shortest Path First, okay, so version 2 we are studying. So the session is getting close. Okay, let us just start it. So now, so it is mainly developed to overcome the deficiencies of RIP. Main deficiency is, so the RIP runs for a smaller network, but this OSPF runs for a bigger network. Okay, and one more thing is, so here only the local information is exchanged between the routers, because every router, what information it exchanges with its neighbor, only the neighbors, the information about the neighbors is exchanged. Okay, so the to learn about the complete topology of the network is not exchanged. Okay, that is why. So this open shortest path first. So it is based on which routing algorithm? It is based on Dijkstra's routing algorithm. Is it not? So it is based on the Dijkstra's routing algorithm, whereas the RIP is based on Bell-Manford routing algorithm. Okay, so each router monitors the link state to each neighbor and floods the link state information to the other routers, right? So each router builds the link state database. So this link state database is nothing but, see, so again the same thing, right? So every router, what it does, it receives the information from its neighbors. So it is flooded actually. It is flooded. Okay. So the information about the routers, it is flooded across the whole autonomous system, right? So after receiving the link state information. So link state information means what? So the link state information means, so now every neighbor, every router will be knowing. So from every router, from every neighboring router, it receives the link state information. So about the entire network, right? So thereby it builds a link state database. It builds a link state database. So this link state database, it is nothing but is a, so the entire topological information about the entire autonomous system. Are you getting my point? Okay. So link state database is what? Link state database is the information about the entire topology. Entire topology. Okay. So what is this link state? Link state, there is something called as link state advertisement. Link state advertisement means, so that information is nothing but it is in the information about the neighbors. Okay. So it allows the router to build the shortest path tree with the router as the node. Now, after receiving the link state information from all its neighbors, see every router will build a link state database. Will build a link state database. So, what is there in the link state database? The entire complete picture about the entire topology. Complete picture about the entire topology. So once that entire topology is available, so what it does is it builds a shortest path tree. It builds a shortest path tree. So with that particular router as a root, right? So then it develops. So from this router, from my network, so what is the best way to go to the next router? Okay, like that. So different networks, how can they be reached with a smaller distance? So what happens now here? Which routing algorithm works? Once the link state database is ready, on this link state database, our Dijkstra's routing algorithm works. So to determine the shortest path, from, see now our router is at the root. Our router is at the root. So then different routers, so we form a tree. So then, so we develop a shortest path. Right? We will continue with this in the next class. So the session is getting closed. So any doubts are there? Any doubts are there? See this shortest path, it is applicable only once that database is ready, link state database is ready at a router, right? So this how this link state database is ready. So link state database is prepared by every router by receiving the link state update information from the neighbors. Right? If suppose I have 4 neighbors, so I receive link state update from every neighbor. So thereby I develop the link state database. So once I have a link state database, then I apply